And here we go. So as I go, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just type them out in the chat, and as I see them, I'll address them. But we're just going to go over the basic usage of how Teams functions, what it does, and why it's such a great program. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. And here we go. So this is basically where we're starting. So Teams is simply put, it's a chat program. Think of it almost like Facebook Messenger, but for an employee environment as opposed to the social media environment that Facebook has. So it's built into the Microsoft Office suite, which is great because we all have Microsoft Office as employees. So you can actually just go and access it at any point in time without much of a hurdle. The easiest way to get onto Teams is to just go to goodwin.edu. And I'm actually going to show you guys how we install it and how to use it and everything. So once you're on Goodwin's webpage, head on over to faculty staff. And then you can click on check your email. And you'll see a whole bunch of stuff here. You have Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, and so forth. And one little thing you'll see here is Teams. So when we click on Teams, you're going to actually be brought to the web interface. And here on the web interface, you can actually use a reduced version of Teams. So if you ever need Teams in a pinch and you're on a computer or something and you can't get it installed, you can still at least go here. So this is the web interface, but I'm actually going to show you guys how to install it and how it works as well. So once you first come into Teams, all you have to do to get the web version is click right here, your little picture, your little name, and click download the desktop app. I'm going to click save file. It's on my desktop right here, so we'll go ahead and load the file. And I will minimize my desktop. And we can see Teams is loading right here. So for me, because I already have Microsoft Office for my employee account already installed on my computer, it's not asking me to log in. But for the majority of people, it'll probably ask you to log in, and you'll use the same information to log into Teams as you do your email or any other application through Microsoft that you get through Goodwin. So it's the same email address and password to log in. And typically when you first open Teams, you're brought up to either the Teams page or the activity page. It brought me to the Teams page. And you can see that I am currently in 3 teams. It's up to you, Leslie, if you want to do it as I share. It might be more beneficial for you if you do it that way, but you can absolutely do it or not do it at your discretion. Like I said, I am recording the video, so I'll make sure you guys get your hands on it. So that way, if you want to follow the process after, you're more than welcome to. So basically, I'm going to start from the top and work our way down. And the first thing you're going to see here is your activity stream. Activity stream is the exact same thing in a nutshell as on Blackboard. It kind of shows you all the activity. You can see what people have said to you, what you have said, anything that relates to you that you're a part of, either personal instant messages or team messages, which are groups, you'll see here. So I don't particularly use the activity stream that often because I get my information from the other categories, but a lot of people can use it. Will email request updates when emails request changed in password? Will email request updates? So I believe you're asking me if Teams will need a new password when your password updates, Leslie? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes, that's so
okay.
When we update, or do we just have to remember this pass?
So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take over for 1 second. This is Peter. So Teams, just like any other part of the Office 365 portal that that BJ has you log in to begin with, uses the same exact password, so it's one password to rule them all. So essentially, when you update your email password or whatever you call that password, network password, that takes care of every single piece of Office 365.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Peter. So as I was saying, the activity stream, it's just a summary of any sort of information that pertains to you. But you can get this information in other places, so I generally don't use it, but I figured I'd go ahead and just give you the quick overview. Chat right here is one of the two most powerful features of Teams. This is where I equate it to Facebook Messenger, because this is basically what it is if you've ever used Facebook Messenger or just texting on your phone in general. You can search for various team members and message them. So right now you can see right here a conversation I've been having with Peter off and on, because Peter and I chat a lot for various things, and you'll see right here we're talking. So I'm just gonna say hi to him. But I should probably spell his name correctly. There we go. And then Peter can respond to me whenever he gets around to it. But it's just simple instant messaging. To instant message someone, there's this little tiny button that should be more prominent but isn't. And this is how you instant message someone. I got a big hello out of him. So in order to instant message someone, just click on the new chat button. And this works just like Outlook when it's auto-populating, as long as the person you are reaching out to is a Goodwin employee or even a student. You can actually search for them. So I will just search for Peter, and you'll see it automatically starts to populate. Now, while technically students are in the system, they currently do not use it, so they would not be someone you want to reach out to. For now, it's just faculty and staff. All right, so Kelly has a question. So does a chat message show up in an email? So chats do not show up in email. It actually shows up directly in the chat program itself, which, again, you can see I just said hi to Peter right here, and then you'll see right down here Peter responded to me. So after a while, though, if you've been away from Teams for a little bit and you haven't checked, it will send you a notification email saying, hey, while you were gone, this person messaged you. You can't rely on those to consistently come for everything, but you will get those messages. So otherwise, you will not be getting general emails from Teams. Does that answer your question, Kelly?
So yes, it does. So then in order to, so how will we know that we get a chat? Will we have to be in Teams at that time, or does it somehow alert us that somebody is trying to message us?
Okay, so that is a good question. Thank you for asking. And that depends on what you're using. Are you using the web browser or using the desktop? That's the first thing it depends on. The second thing it depends on is if you have notifications enabled on your computer. So if you do not have notifications enabled, which by default they should be for Teams, you will get in the little bottom right corner, which is right near the down here. In this little area, you'll get notifications when someone messages you. The Teams application does have to be open, however, so if you don't have Teams open, you won't get those notifications. So that is what that pertains to in regards to that.
Got it. Thank you.
You're not seeing notifications on my screen right now because I have Do Not Disturb on, so I can give this presentation, which is, I guess, a quick little tutorial right here. If you click your little picture, you can change your statuses. And I have mine in Do Not Disturb, so that way, because I'm presenting. But otherwise, you would actually see little messages popping up in my corner because my team uses Teams extensively as a communication process, so I've always got something going on. But that, in summary, is the instant message component. One final thing I want to show you in here before I move on is the buttons up here. So the cool thing about Teams is you can do little, I'm going to call them Skype calls because that's a term that people are more familiar with. You can do little Skype calls. It's not actually Skype, but it's the same concept. If you click this button right here, you can do an audio call. If you click this button right here, if you have a camera, you can do a video call, which also will, of course, include audio, where you can actually call the person that you're instantly messaging in. The screen will change, and you'll immediately be able to go ahead and have a video conference with them. So this is great, especially when you're a supervisor and you want to have one-to-ones with your staff, or if you are a staff member and you want to talk to someone a little more directly than text. It's a great feature. I'm actually going to give Peter a quick call right now and just show you what it kind of looks like. Hey there, Peter. Can you hear me? So I think you guys are hearing him as well. But yeah, this is basically it. We're in a quick phone call with Peter. And you can do this with anyone that you want to have a chat with. And if you click right here. Oh, you're not hearing Peter? Okay. So I can explain why you're not hearing him. My audio is going through my headphones, so it's not being picked up by Blackboard. But I assure you, Peter is talking, and he's saying all kinds of entertaining things to me. So, yeah, but this is what it looks like. And right down here, there's a little bar with some options. So if we want to invite a third person, if you want a third wheel, or if you want a fourth person, or get a whole party going, you just search for people. So if I wanted to invite Lisa, who's my supervisor, I would just search for her, and notice how she shows up. I would click on her, and now Lisa's getting called, but it looks like she's away, so she's gonna be wondering what's going on. So I'm gonna end this call now before she answers. Alrighty, so yeah, that's just the quick phone call. It's the exact same thing if I had a webcam enabled on this particular device. It'd be the exact same screen, except you'd actually see me, as opposed to just that black background. So it's okay, Lisa. I was just using you as a test dummy, so no worries. We're moving along to Teams itself, and chances are when you first come into here, when you click on the Teams button on the side, you're going to have no teams. So you're going to want to create a team or join a team. Depending on what you do here at Goodwin will depend on if you need to really do anything with teams. Generally speaking, the supervisor will probably be the one creating the team because they're the ones who want to organize everything. Good question, Leslie. Absolutely does work on Android, iPhone, and laptop. You would go to your respective app stores to download it. It's not quite as robust on an iPhone or a Android device, but it can do most of what you need to do on the fly. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to address that, and you beat me to the punch. So thank you very much. Stealing my thunder, Leslie. So anyway, we have our teams right here, and you'll see I'm in 3 teams right now. One of them's a test, and one of them's online studies. So the great thing about teams is when you have a team, it's a group chat. That's essentially what it is. And a group chat allows you to have a group chat. And people can post messages for the whole group to see, and you can individually respond to them. So right here, you'll see I was expressing some dismay over an issue I found today. And now everyone in the team saw that, and I can actually reply almost like in a thread format. I'm just going to type the word test reply here. And now you'll see that there was a reply. And people can keep replying to it, or they can start a new conversation within the group. So test message. And now you'll see how a new message appeared underneath this one, or you can also reply to it. So this feature is so great because it literally allows my team to function. Online Studies is literally operating right now and keeping the school operating because of this particular chat room. This is where all the Vegas things happen that we're not supposed to share. So we're going to get out of here before Lisa slaps my wrist. Oh, we have an activity notice. What's going on over here? Oh, you know what? Before I address that, let me see what Vivian says here. Although we do not invite students in our team, they can create their own team. Excellent question, Vivian. So to my knowledge, absolutely yes, they can. However, the vast majority of students are not even aware that teams exist because we have not yet, as an institution, promoted it to the student base. I don't know what the path to that is going to be, but I do believe at some point Teams is probably going to be embraced for the student base. But right now, it's more for faculty and staff, so we can continue operating. So circling back to Teams, I have a testing team, BJK and PK. Look right here. Oh, hold on. Okay. So yes, Lisa was just letting us know Teams is integrated into Blackboard, but that's a more advanced feature I'm not super familiar with at this time. So I'm going to go back to my team. So I was just added to a team. So when you get added to a team, you get a little notification, but you also receive an email. And I'm just going to bring the email up over here because you can see it on my screen now. This is the email I received. You don't really need to click anything because when you go in Teams, it'll already be there. But again, you just click on Teams. You can click in here, and now you're in a new team. and I'm messaging my good friend Peter over here, and we're in a new group. And if you need to switch back to a different team, because you could be in numerous teams depending on your role, you just go back to all teams up here in the little corner, and then you choose your team. Leslie, I'm going to cover that in just a moment because that's one of the most powerful features of Teams and one of my personal favorites. All right, so before I cover that though, I showed you what it looks like when you're invited to a team. Oh, it's totally fine, Leslie. I love the fact that you're so engaged. Keep it up. But I'm going to create a team just to show you guys so that way you know how to do it in case you have a reason to create a team. So when you're on the Teams page, you will see the join or create team button. So all you do is click this. And the first thing you're going to see is a couple of public teams. I don't know what any of these are, and I'm not sure if anyone is actually openly using these teams. The majority of teams are going to be private because they're more for your team than they are for the public at large. So we're not going to be joining a team. We are going to be creating a team. So we just click create team. I'm going to call this test team. By default, you can keep it on private. Then I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then now that I created the team, there's no one in it, so it's basically an empty chat room. So we're going to look for Peter. We're going to add Peter. Let's get Lisa in here too. She's not in enough teams. She needs to be in more. So now we'll add Lisa. And we'll close. And now we'll see that I'm in the new team. And that email that I showed you guys that I received a moment ago, that's the same email that the people I just invited are going to be receiving. They're going to receive an email just like this, and they'll know they're part of a new team. And that's all you have to do to create a team. So any questions so far? I don't see anything that's popped up yet. So I'll give you guys a quick 30-second breather to type something out, and then we'll move along. Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're ready to do the next part of Teams, the file sharing. So when you're in a team, you'll see on the top a little file button. So anytime you use this button, anyone in the team will be able to see it. So all you do is click on Files, and we wait for it to load. Now that it's here, we can bring files in here one of two ways. We can drag and drop. So let's see, do I have any files here? I have a document here. This is going to be our test document. So one, we can just drag and drop. And now this file is available for anyone in the team. The other way you can do it, if you don't have the ability to drag and drop for any various reasons, if you just click the upload button right here, and then browse to your desktop, or wherever your file is located more correctly. In this case, it's on my desktop, and then you can select it, and it's going to upload. But because there's a named file here with the exact same name, it's saying, hey, should we rename it? Let's not duplicate it. So it wasn't uploaded for that reason, so we're not going to upload it a second time. But that's how you upload files. So there is a more advanced Teams training that goes into more depth with file sharing in Teams, where you can actually do collaborative editing, but that's another training in and of itself. So we're not going to do that today. I just wanted to give you guys the overview. And once you're done at files, just go back to posts and you can see what your Teams is saying. And a little nifty fun thing here. You can do little emoticons to acknowledge someone's mention. So Lisa is thanking us for putting her in another team. So I'm going to give her a thumbs up. And we can also reply, because this is the most important part of Teams. We don't just want to chat. It's very, very important that we be able to use our emoticons or search for GIFs, because this is the most important part of Teams, right, guys? But we can do all this while chatting with each other. And that basically wraps up everything I wanted to show you guys today. Do you have any other questions? Any suggestions from anyone in here, Lisa or Peter, that I missed?
I don't think so. I mean,
Uh,
well, Leslie's raising her hand.
I
hey, Leslie,
did.
how can I help you?
So is there a time frame that you could go on for a chat, or is it for a certain length of time? Or once a team is open, you just go in and out?
So
So,
once you're in a team, you never leave the team unless you personally leave the team. So that's actually a great question. So if you look on my screen right now, we can see we're in my test team. So let's go back to all my teams. And you can see right now I have a bunch of teams. If I click this little menu option, I can leave the team. And now I'm no longer a part of that team. However, you will never leave a team unless you do that. So as long as Teams is open, you will be in that chat room whenever you need to be in that chat room, whenever you have the application open. Does that answer your question?
so, so for a conversation, we're not going to get kicked out after 20 minutes or 2 hours
Correct.
or, okay.
As long as Teams is open, you are in it 24/7. As long as you have it open.
Yay.
All right, Katie. So how many calls can people have at one time in the chat? So that's a great question. I don't have the answer off the top of my head. I had the answer and I've forgotten it. What I can tell you is it's in the hundreds. It's basically impossible for us to, in any meaningful way, for what we're using Teams for, to run into that limit. Yoda, our wise sage, has told us that there's 250. Thank you, Lisa. So I absolutely recommend you stay logged into Teams. Just remember the work-life balance. When you're done working, you're done working. So you can be on your computer after hours and still have Teams open. You might want to just close it for the night or something, unless you need to have it open. But yes, I definitely recommend staying logged into Teams all the time, and just opening it when you're ready to chat, and then closing it when you're not.
I agree, and the best way to honestly keep track of what's going on in your teams is putting it on your phone.
Yes, absolutely. That's basically what I do. Usually when I'm done working for the day, I close Teams on my computer and it's on my phone. So if something critical comes up, I see it and I'll address it.
PJ, can you show them how they can change to showing that they're available or busy on the right-hand side?
So I already addressed that while someone was busy, but I'll show them again.
Sorry, I must have been making dinner at the time.
It's okay. So yeah, just to show you guys one more time, if you want to change your status, so you'll have a little picture of yourself in the top right corner area. If you click it, you'll see your status options. And right now, like I said earlier, I'm in Do Not Disturb, but you can change it to available, busy, whatever the status is that you need to use. So Do Not Disturb is a good status to use after hours.
And also keep in mind that that your Outlook calendar controls your status as well. So if you have a meeting planned out, it will put you for that time period to unavailable or busy.
That's a
However,
really, really good
however,
point, Peter.
sorry, go ahead, Peter. Yes.
Oh no, I was just thanking you. That's a really good point because this is a Microsoft product. It's integrated into the Microsoft suite, which includes Outlook, Word, Excel, etc. So when you are, like Peter was just mentioning, if you have a meeting on your calendar, it'll change your status to busy automatically so people know you're not available if you're in a meeting just because of what your calendar says. That is excellent, Peter. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're quite
Leslie,
welcome.
is your hand
So,
raised again for a question?
mine is Kelly.
I have Leslie's hand raised, but
Oh,
Kelly?
okay, no, go ahead, Leslie.
No, she just said never mind. So how can I help you, Kelly?
Okay, so if do not disturb or so let's just say you change your status to do not disturb. Does that mean then you won't receive any notifications or like what does that actually do? Does it you'll still get your messages, but you'll get them at another time when you change your status?
Excellent question. So do not disturb means you get no notifications whatsoever until you change your status. Now, the difference between do not disturb and busy is that when you are marked as busy, you will still get notifications, but people know you're busy, so they shouldn't expect a response if it says busy. Whereas with do not disturb, you literally will not see notifications until you go and physically look at them.
Got it. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you could actually go in and see them. So people could potentially try and reach you and leave you a message, but you just wouldn't get it until you went in to look for it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions, everybody? You guys feeling good about this program? Happy to hear that, Vivian. Alrighty, so it looks like I have presented everything and there's no more questions. Oh, we have one right here. Is there a way to delete previous chats? There
Well,
is.
that's funny, isn't it?
So I was going to address that and I totally forgot to. So let's take a look at a chat I have right here with Peter. So I said, hi, Peter, right here. So if you hover over with your mouse, you'll see the emoticons option, but you also see this little more options. If you highlight this and click delete, you can delete that particular message. And taking it one step further, if you want to delete the entire chat, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. And I am not going to delete that one because there's 2 people in there, so I can't. Let's see. I will delete. Okay, so I thought I could delete it. I'm learning with you guys. I can hide it. You can't delete, you can hide. So I can just do that. And then if I want to start a new chat with Kathy, I can just type in her name and it brings it back up.
I think it
So,
depends on who created it, BJ.
okay,
Who
that's good
created
to
the
know.
chat? It's your ownership of it. So
I have admittedly never looked into that feature because I'm the kind of person who doesn't delete anything in case I need to go back and reference it. So, sorry I didn't have an answer for that one, but thanks, Lisa. Alrighty, well, I'm going to go ahead and press the stop recording button in just a moment. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and this video will be available for everyone probably by tomorrow, and I will be sending out a handout that goes over Teams as well, and that handout is also already located in faculty resources, so you can always grab it from there as well. Thank you so much for attending, everyone. Stay safe and try not to get blown away today with that wind. It's crazy out there.
Thank you, BJ.
Anytime, you guys take care.